Welcome back to Sam's Watch Review. Today, we will take a look at something a bit different than usual on this channel. This is the SKMEI 1355, or maybe known by some people as the SKMEI Royale. It is a very affordable digital watch that clearly takes inspiration from the famous Casio AE1200, also known as Casio Royale. This one is the metal bracelet version, code 1355. While the resin band version is 1299. The packaging is extremely basic. Depending on the seller, it can be just bubble wrap, a small cardboard box, or sometimes a generic SKMEI tin box. Mine was inside a plastic sleeve with bubble wrap. Now let's talk about the design. The shape and layout are clearly inspired by the Casio AE1200. The case shape, the button placement, the overall vibe, everything feels very familiar. But this one is simplified. It does not have full world time and also no 5 alarms like the original AE1200. Maybe to reduce production cost, maybe to simplify the ASIC chip or LCD design, or maybe to avoid legal problems, not really sure. Instead of the LCA and small world map display, this watch has a radar style animation and the day of the week. For the dimensions, the width is around 43 mm, thickness is about 13 mm, and the weight is around 85 grams. And yes, this one is heavier than the basic resin AE1200 due to the metal bracelet, and closer to the AE1200 WHD. The weight actually makes it feel a bit more solid and push the perceived quality up just a little. The display is pretty easy to read. The main digits are large, which helps a lot for daily use. Now about the radar animation. It looks like some random moving pattern connected to the seconds, but after watching it carefully, the animation actually repeats every 10 seconds. And honestly, it is not really useful for reading the seconds. It is more for decoration. On the top right, you can see the alarm and signal indicators under the fixed timer text. Then below that, there is a large day display, where on the original AE1200, this area normally shows world map and time zone information. The main display shows hour, minute, and seconds, and above that, you get the month and date. You can also change between 12 and 24-hour format using the top right button. Now, surprisingly, the viewing angle is actually quite nice. Compared to some other SKMEI watches I have, this one performs better. And compared to the AE1200, this one looks slightly crisper from upper angles, but generally weaker from normal and lower viewing angles. And somehow the digits slanted to the left feel a bit strange. The case is made from ABS plastic, pretty standard for entry-level SKMEI watches. But honestly, the finishing is better than I expected. The cuts look decent, and the overall build does not feel too rough. The crystal is resin, so yes, it can scratch quite easily. But interestingly, my unit came with a screen protector already installed, and honestly, I do not plan to remove it. This is a simple improvement, but very useful. This watch uses a stainless steel folded link bracelet with a triple fold clasp. The clasp also has 4 micro adjustment positions. You may need to remove some links from the bracelet to fit your wrist size. The bracelet works fine, but the edges are noticeably sharper and it rattles more compared to Casio bracelets. Not terrible, but definitely less refined. The lock width is 18 mm using standard spring bars, so technically you can swap this bracelet with many other Casio models. And to be honest, one reason I bought this watch was actually to use the bracelet. The watch has 4 metal side buttons. Visually, they look pretty nice. The layout is a bit different. Light and mode on the left side, start and adjust on the right side. The button feel is softer than the AE1200, which is understandable because this watch only has 50-meter water resistance. And then the beep sound, it is also slightly softer. Interestingly, the watch gives a slightly higher beep sound when entering timekeeping mode. And there is one useful shortcut, common on many Casio watches but not AE1200. If you press and hold the mode button, the watch jumps directly back to the main time display. However, there is no mute or silent button operation. Also, when setting or adjusting, you can only use the start button to increase values, with no button to decrease them. For the specifications, this watch has 50-meter water resistance, or 5 ATM or 5 bar, so it should be fine for rain and hand washing, but personally I would not fully trust it for swimming. The battery uses a CR2025, and as for battery life, honestly I do not know yet, but surely not 10 years. If you have a long-term experience with this exact model or the SKMEI 1299, feel free to share in the comments below. Thank you. Now let's check the modes and features. First, standard timekeeping. You get 12 or 24-hour format and full auto calendar up to year 2099. Next is the alarm. This watch only has one alarm, but it is multifunction. You can set a specific date and month if needed. It also has a snooze function, plus hourly signal or chime. Then we have the stopwatch. Accuracy is 100th of a second with a maximum range of up to 24 hours. Next is dual time. You can set different hours and minutes, while the seconds follow the main time. And finally, the countdown timer. You can set it from 1 minute up to 24 hours. One strange thing here, when starting or pausing the timer, there is no beep sound. So sometimes you are not fully sure whether the timer already started until the seconds begin moving. Now, compared to the AE1200, this watch misses many functions. No full world time with 48 series, no multi-alarm system, no mute mode, and the current home time is not shown while using other modes. For the backlight, this watch uses electroluminescent backlight. The whole display glows with a greenish blue color, and honestly, this is actually very nice. It looks bright and more even than the standard LED light on the AE1200. The digits and background glow together, which gives a pretty cool retro feeling. On my almost 7-inch wrist, the watch looks perfectly fine, very similar to the AE1200. The bracelet weight makes it feel a little more premium, although again, the sharper edges can sometimes feel uncomfortable. Not dangerous or painful, just less refined. Legibility is pretty decent. Large digits and acceptable contrast really help during daily use. But because the button layout is slightly different from the AE1200, sometimes I still press the wrong button by accident. So let's summarize the pros: very affordable price, good looking royal style design, nice EL backlight, and decent bracelet compatibility for modding. Now here are the things you might want to consider. This is not a true world timer. The radar animation is mostly decorative, and honestly I feel it is a bit annoying. Only one alarm, no mute mode, lower water resistance and battery life, and overall legibility is still below the Casio AE1200. So, what do I think about this watch? Honestly, this is a fun watch, a cheap watch you can wear daily without too much worry. Also interesting for modding projects, especially if you need bracelet parts. But if you want better durability, better features, and real-world time function, then the Casio AE1200 is still the obvious choice. And if you want the same SKMEI version with the resin strap instead of bracelet, you can also check the SKMEI 1299 resin model. Thank you for watching and have a great day.